Hello and welcome to the Queen's Couch Podcast with our amazing host, Dr. Tanika Victoria. She curates a space for women where all women are encouraged to collaborate and do not collide. Join us on the couch tonight. Hello, and welcome to the Queen's Couch. I am excited to have you on tonight. We are celebrating Women's History Month. And so, what I'm excited about the most is that I have an amazing guest with me for Women's History Month. We're going live every Thursday on the Queen's Couch for Women's History Month. And I'm excited to have with me on today Coach Vaughn. Listen, I can tell you she is an amazing speaker. I met Coach Vaughn at an event last year where she was the speaker, and the way she spoke just captivated me. She just took the show. She really talked about loving yourself, finding your voice, and so I am ecstatic to have her on tonight. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Coach Vaughn. Coach Vaughn, tell us about yourself, and we're amazingly happy to have you here on the podcast tonight.
Well, thank you so much. I was like, when you were saying about how I was moving and impacting, I was like, who's she talking about? Me? But I am Evonne Young. I better known in these streets as Coach Vaughn in these coaching streets. I'm a mental health professional therapist. I'm also a certified transformational life coach. I work with women. My women's empowerment is my thing. I specialize in mindfulness. A lot of people are not, they think it's the mind with the whom, the how, but actually with mindfulness is really settling down, becoming centered and grounded from a non-judgmental place. I like mindfulness a lot because it helps you to get in touch with who you are, but not with who people say you are. I help individuals find clarity and purpose to assist them in their mental health and well-being. Even though my coaching business is set up for women, I take a fella or two here and there. Um, I'm truly a woman of faith. I love the Lord. God is truly the head of my life. I love March. March, Women's History Month, has a very, very special place in my heart because on March the 8th in 2020, that's when I became a certified life coach. And during that whole weekend, shout out to Champion Influence Coaching Program, Master Coach Toyinda Smith, if you're watching. I found my voice in that weekend. I really discovered who I was, what God called me to be, and I found my purpose and my calling, and I've embraced the journey. Hence, my business name is Creative Life Journeys. You know, journeys, my journey, the way I spell it is Journies. It's spelled Journey, but everybody's journey is different. It may be sound the same, but it's spelled differently because everyone's journey is different. Learning how to embrace you. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself because you can tell I'm very passionate for what I do, and being able to help women, especially women who've gone through some challenges, change that narrative and become the better version of themselves. That's the professional side. Personally, I have 4 adult sons. I've got 24 grandchildren. 4 of them are bonus, 20 biological. I know I don't look it, I don't behave it, I don't act like it. I get it all the time. I'm who I'm affectionately called Nana, and that's it. That's me.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for telling us so much about you. And so tonight we're talking about loving yourself and
Mm-hmm.
having a relationship with yourself. So as you're doing your work, as you're thinking about helping women to love themselves and have self compassion, what are some things that Let women know that, hey, I'm not loving myself like I should. I'm not having this relationship with myself that I
Mhm.
should to help me to develop and grow into my best self. So, what would you tell that woman who said, I don't have time for self care? I don't really even know who I am. What would you tell that woman, Coach Vaughn?
Honey, let me get it a little closer. If you got time to go to Burger King, McDonald's, here we've got Victor's or wherever else, you got time for self care. You have to make time. You have to be intentional about it because self care is more than just going to get your nails done, going on a trip. Self care is how you're taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, checking in with yourself. That's self care. And I'd like to tell people, you got to replenish the cup that you pour from. We as women, we're mothers. Those of us who are mothers, wives, those who are wives, aunties, professional women, women in leadership. We are constantly pouring out so much. You can't afford not to have time to take care of yourself because it is going to affect you in every single area of your life. Myself, I've got a lot of different situations going on. And this week, Coach, I'm just going to be my authentic self because that's all I know how to be. I got a lot of situations going on, and I was not functioning at my best version of myself. I thought I was because I'm a very high functioning person. And I'm at a new level in my career where I'm in a leadership role now. I'm in a supervisory level now. And things weren't getting done. I had one thing on one calendar, but I didn't have it in my system. So if somebody needed to kind of go back and reference stuff, it wasn't there. So when my supervisor came to me, she was like, "Hey, you don't have anybody on your schedule." I know I got people on my schedule. There's nothing there. And when I looked, there was nothing there. And I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, "You know what? I got to take a deep breath." I had to be aware of what I'm going through. I said, "You know what? I'm not functioning at the best version of myself. I'm not okay. I am not okay. I got to sit down and take a step back because I have got to be a better version of myself." I didn't beat myself up for not having this done, not having that done. I realized I was in a space, my stress, and I got to take care of myself. So Monday night, I said, before I do anything else, I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to prioritize my self care. So what I did, I went to the happy hour, sat down, got something to eat, got a nice cool beverage. I ain't gonna say what the beverage was, but I got the fruit of the vine. I got the fruit of the vine, and I'm gonna leave it like that. And I sat down, was talking with some individuals I never met. I never knew. We just struck up a conversation, and we enjoyed each other's company as women. And so it felt good. And then after that, I said, you know what? My feet are tired. I do so much. Let me go treat myself to a pair of shoes, to help me as I'm walking through work so I won't feel that tiredness on my body because your physical tiredness, your mental tiredness, and your emotionally tired, all that ties up. And you need to have that awareness. Where am I at? Because we don't wear capes. I'm sorry. I'm too big to be trying to fly around with a little piece of material on my back. I'm not Superwoman. I'm Evonne.
So
Can you
true.
hear me?
I can hear you. I can loud and clear. And so I love the fact that you said if you have time for everything else, you definitely have time for self-care. And so one of the things I always have a quote. I love quotes. And so one of the quotes I saw that you put on your page one day ago, it said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And so when you think about that quote, what type of relationship do you need to have with yourself so that you don't feel inferior to other women? What is it that you need to have? What is it that you need to possess to know about yourself, what type of awareness you need to have so that you don't feel inferior to other women. You realize that, listen, we're all here together, we all can collaborate, but that takes some strength. So let's talk about that a minute. How can you not feel inferior when you're with other women?
You
You
know,
know,
Coach Tanico, that's a very good question that really needs a good response, and I'm going to give it to you. I used to be inferior to other women, especially light skinned women, women that were skinny, because when I was younger, I didn't love myself because I was not taught how to love myself, to have that in self love. It wasn't until later on that I started getting older. And the key is it, and I'm going to read it, I'm going to hit it to you, is self acceptance. It's just that simple. Self acceptance is a powerful catalyst for women's empowerment, fostering resiliency and confidence. Embracing one's uniqueness helps break societal stereotypes, promoting a more inclusive and supportive environment. When we as women accept, keyword accept, and celebrate our strengths as well as our flaws, that's how we get greater personal fulfillment and contribute to dismantling barriers of our limiting beliefs that we place on ourselves. So if mama didn't validate you, sister didn't validate you, nobody else didn't validate you, you learn how to celebrate you. I have what's called a Yay Evonne, a Yay Evonne section in my office because even if nobody else celebrates me, I'm gonna celebrate Evonne. One thing my mother did teach me, and I did not understand it at the point, Coach, and when I did, it's a sad frog that never praises its own pad. Now, a lily pad on a frog can look kind of ugly, but that's that frog's pad, and he takes pride in it. Great pride. Like I said, I've been a big girl all my life. I think the smallest I weigh is when I exited utero weighing 6, 7 pounds. That's the smallest I've ever been. I had to learn to embrace me, who I was, my own authentic self. So when I'm sitting in the boardroom or I'm sitting with whomever, I'm who I am. I'm loud, I'm crazy, I know my stuff, I'm a very well educated woman. You just don't see the polar sides. You get all of me because I embrace me. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. But I am who I am. We focus so much on our weaknesses. Oh, I'm weak in this area. Okay, but what area are you good in? Oh, I'm strong in this area. Okay, where can you use some development at? And being able to have that self acceptance, knowing I got to have that balance in place. I'm not perfect. I come from a place of excellence and being able to accept your flaws. A lot of women, and I just feel led on this, I'm not trying to be loaded with this, cannot accept the fact I gotta take a look at me. That's what I like about mindfulness. You're gonna take them deep breaths and just calm yourself down and get into a mindset. Let me look at me. Let me look at me. Let me accept myself from a non-judgmental standpoint. Self-acceptance at its best.
Absolutely love that. One of the things that you said that I really love is that when you accept yourself, there's no need to feel inferior. And you're right. And I've been every size. I grew up as a chubby little girl, and the women around me, I remember my aunt, my grand aunt, and she always said to me, she said, honey, listen to me. She said, they're already looking at you. So you might as well give them something to look at. And so that was how I built my confidence. Now, is there some moments where I haven't felt as confident in certain areas, but I've learned to embrace me. I've been every size on the spectrum from a 4 up to a 24, back down to a different size. But
Right.
at each moment, I have had to learn how to embrace myself. And when people would make comments about me, they would say comments like, "You're so pretty to be plus size," and that used to offend me in some way and make me feel like, "Why would you say that?" But then I had to embrace. You're right. I am beautiful to be plus size, and I'm going to represent my plus size sisters in a way that they know that they deserve love, they deserve to be happy, they
Mm-hmm.
deserve to dress in the body that they have so that they can feel excited about that. And my aunt, her name is Eliza, she taught me that. Honey, when she walked into the room, it doesn't even matter if Beyonce was there. Let me tell you something. My aunt could command this room. And
Absolutely.
so I just always looked up to her like, okay, if she can walk in the room, honey, and she listen, I think she maybe was a 22, but listen, she was put together and she always carried herself in that manner. And so just having women around you to tell you that you're beautiful, but you got to tell yourself that you're beautiful. Cuz sometimes you can keep telling a person, you can keep telling a pen, this is a good writing pen. This is a good writing pen, but you don't never pick the pen up to write with it. How will you ever know? So if everyone's telling you that you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're charismatic, but you don't tell yourself those things, you don't accept that about yourself, you have this what I call the false sense of humility. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
don't say those things about me. No, you are a woman. Women are such complex creatures. I love women. I
Mm-hmm.
love all the things women do. But there's nothing in this world like an African American woman.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely. There's absolutely nothing like an African American woman. This woman is so resilient.
Mm-hmm.
This woman is so creative. And
Yes.
when I think about the history of our women and we look
Yes.
at the women and the things that we've been able to create, how we've taken care of families with things, we've made meals, we've made different things. And I always tell people, I love my people
Yes.
because there's nothing
Yes.
like a black woman, And so, and although we're talking about Women's History Month, there's nothing like a black woman. And I want
Absolutely.
and that's why there's so many attacks on the black woman because no one can really understand her. She can be that home girl, but then she can be that CEO. She can be that soft, gentle woman, and she can be that lion all in one woman. You don't have to conform to just one thing. You can be
Mm-mm-mm.
four or five different things at one time. And so it's hard for the world to understand this black woman because
Yes.
she's so many things. She's a
That's why
woman.
we're
See,
phenomenal.
that's right. That's why we're phenomenal, Yvonne. That's it. So listen, I want to tell you said you found your voice.
I
And so
did.
as we turn the corner a little bit, I want you to tell everyone, how did you find your voice as a woman? How did you find your voice? How did you find Coach Vaughn?
Some days I think Coach Vaughn found me. How I found Coach Vaughn, um, Coach, it was back in 2018. I was going through some stuff. I mean, I really was going through some mess. I had been divorced for what 20 something years. Had to finish raising my kids. I'm out. Mind you, South Carolina is not my home. I'm originally born and raised in New York. So I've gravitated to certain friends, had some heartaches, had some disappointments, and was coming out of the third back to back bad relationship post divorce, and I was not in a good space mentally or emotionally. Going through a lot of anxiety, going through depression, and I'm one. I'm just like because I'm so high functioning, I have a tendency to suffer in silence. So if I ever open up to you and trust you and let you in at that point, I trust you because I need a space to talk. So I was doing similar like this. People, of course, they, was in a support group. And there was this particular young lady up in Maryland. And some things I was posting. So she inboxed me. She said, "Hi, how are you?" I'm like, "Fine, how are you?" And she said, "Can I just talk to you?" And me being the therapist that I was, well, I am, because I'm not active with therapy as I was because of my new position. And we got to talking and we became friends. So throughout the course of our friendship, she had invited me to come to her church up in Maryland. This is why I have such a heart for Maryland. It's referenced in my book. And the preacher was preaching. He was a guest pastor at the church at First Baptist Church in Glen Maryland, where Pastor John K. Jenkins Sr. is the pastor there. And Pastor Keith Battles was preaching a sermon called No More Excuses. And I told you I'm a woman of faith. It's if God, that Sunday service, that was that last Sunday of the new year of 2018, was speaking in my ear, he said, if you do not get what I'm preaching in this message to you, you're going to miss out on everything I had. And I remember to this day. And I said, wow. The preacher was preaching about imposter syndrome. I'm a therapist, got my degree in therapy, psychology, never knew anything about imposter syndrome. So he started referencing Moses and Aaron. And I'm listening, and I'm taking this in, writing my notes. I said, he's talking to me. He's talking to me. Went into 2019, my mindset started shifting. I stopped with that limiting beliefs, how I talk to myself, and I began giving myself therapy. I said, you know what? The same way I'm giving my patients that I'm working with, I got to give this back to me. I had a coach, and she taught me about mindfulness, about meditation. I got into that. So in 2020, I decided, you know what? I want to become a certified life coach and really start working with individuals to help women. Wasn't quite sure which way I wanted to go with this, but that weekend, as I was going through, and this was 4 years ago, during this time here, I was going through it. And what I liked about this coaching program, it was kingdom based. There was another coach that came in, and she just started prophesizing. And when she got to me, I be trying to run. I don't want nobody, I don't want nobody knowing what I be doing. And so she started this prophesizing to me, and that's just when the scale started. It just, the weight came off of me, and God said, this is your season. This is your season. So from that moment on, that's when Coach Vaughn, it's just, I had to reintroduce myself, because I created a new life journey for myself, and this was my new narrative. Post everything I had gone through, I had my voice, I had my confidence. I can empower her, empower other women to becoming the best version of myself, because I was not hiding behind all of my credentials, all of my degrees. No, those were good, but it was within me once I gained clarity of who I was and my voice to say, you know what, you got to go forth. No woman should have to sit and suffer in silence. They can be, you can make it. Post traumatic growth, post whatever, there is hope. And that's my message. You can have clarity, purpose, and have ultimate mental health well being. So that's how I found my voice. And it's been getting louder and louder and louder and louder.
You are absolutely right. Listen, if you have never heard Coach Vaughn speak, listen to me. She is an experience. Listen, she comes in, and just how you see her tonight, she is just commands the room. She tells a story, and I specifically remember you telling the story about you getting your annual review, and it wasn't going the way you thought. And so instead of you being um sad about it, you trudged in and you saw, how can I get to the next level? You saw your feedback as a gift and not something to diminish you. And so, in that, and even in that moment when you were talking, I was on my job specifically going through something. And that just helped me in that moment, because sometimes we think that we are the best thing since sliced bread
Yes.
in our terms. But when we get into bigger arenas and we get into bigger tables, we need to have this personal development and this personal growth so that we can get to the next level. And sometimes when women are out here saying that she's hating on me, no, this woman is telling you something to help you grow, or whoever it is. And when you look at feedback as a gift and not as something to tear you down. Now there is instances where people are just tearing you down. But if it's someone that cares about you, that has your best interests at heart, and they're telling you things that blind spots that you're not seeing, those are moments that you're gonna even have to know yourself enough to say, you know what? This is a moment where I can decide to be transparent and grow, or I can take it and bury it and do nothing and be in the same place and in the same cycle I was in before. And so that is kind of where I am in a space I am in right now. I'm taking my feedback as a gift. I'm growing in an area that I didn't even think I would be growing in. So Dr. Shaniko is back in school. Okay. Listen, I
All
started
right
today.
now.
I did
Period.
my first post today, and I'm back in school for health and wellness. Now I want to stay in my box. My jam is education. You can wake me up in the middle of the night. I'm gonna tell you about a child. You can tell me what's going on with the child. I can tell you what's wrong. You know, but I'm out of my comfort zone right now because I'm getting a mental health and wellness degree. And I was about to go back and get a principal certification.
Yes.
And God said to me, you're not doing that. That's not what you're doing. You already know that. I want you to, you're multifaceted and you need to break out the box. And so I'm like, I had to breathe. I had to have a little funeral, which I'm gonna always love children. I do have a family dynamic where I'm still gonna help children and family, but I had to break out of the box of I'm Taniko the educator
Yeah.
because I'm more than just the educator.
Yeah.
I'm this multifaceted creature, this individual that creates great spaces and places, and so I have to embrace this moment that I am. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. Is it different from what I'm used to? Yes. But I'm embracing it because at this moment I know that I have a voice that women need to hear.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to tell someone what to do without actually doing it. So sometimes I'm reinventing myself at this age of 48, about to be 49, into a whole different career. Okay. I was in a 20-year career, 23 years of early childhood, and I'm shifting and to a new space and career. And is it scary? Yes. Well, I listened to this podcast one day, and one of the ladies on the podcast, she does a research on fear. And she said, whenever you feel fear, it's a moment for you to figure out how can I be courageous. And so every time I feel fear about this new dynamic that I'm about to be in, this new not knowing this new flow, because I know early childhood, like the hair growing out of my head, I think about, okay, it's time for you to be courageous. It's time for you to find the area to be courageous. So I want to tell a woman tonight, if you have to reinvent yourself, you may have been a woman who's experiencing divorce. You've never had to be by yourself before. Or you could be a woman that's experiencing grief from a child or a mother or a mate. And you're in this new space and it's scary and it's fearful. But I want you to find a way for you to find courage. And it's okay to be fearful. And it's okay to say, I'm afraid. But when you want to go to the next level and you want to expand who you are as a woman, I want you to dig deep because it's nothing like us and find your courage. Because there's a place in every woman that has this courage. You have this lion in you, this lioness that's a courage. Like when you feel like you can't do it, there's something inside of you that you can do it. You can do it.
Absolutely.
You can find that courageous spot. I call it the sweet spot. Like, I know I'm afraid, but I'm about to do it. And you go through a range of emotions while you're doing it. You want to cry sometimes. You want to be solemn sometimes. You don't know what to feel at that moment. And it's not even like you're feeling like you're not yourself. But I'm telling you to find that courage, to find that courage in the midst of fear so that you can be the best that you can be. And so that's the space I'm in tonight. And that's what made me even want to talk about having a relationship with yourself,
Yeah,
knowing when you're fearful,
yeah,
knowing when I'm emotional. Like today, I was a little emotional.
yeah.
Started school today. Not that I hadn't started school a lot of different times before, but it was this is something new. And so I had to pull myself together and say, you know what, girl, you can do it.
You can.
You've
You
done
are
it
the right
before.
mindset, and that's what I tell people. Healing and strength is coming from within. And so, and you acknowledge your feelings. Hey, I'm feeling this way. You did not diminish them. You did not minimize them. And with change, let me go to the comfort zone before I get to the change part. There are four aspects of a comfort zone. You've got your comfort zone right here. Then you've got the fear. You've got your learning stage where you're learning it. And then you've got your growth stage. That's the final stage. There are a lot of different emotions that are attached to it. That's the comfort zone. Then as you're adjusting, there's going to be anxiety. There's going to be some emotions that are attached to adjusting to new things. And like you said, you can't give up. The emotions, the feelings are going to be there. How do you grow? Not go through, but grow through it and learn that this is a learning experience. This is where you're made at. This is where the resiliency is built at. I tell people, you're looking at top tier resiliency here. This just didn't come by me being a therapist or having degrees in psychology. This came by going through. On a previous podcast I did, you learn in the valley. Mountain represents celebration. Valley represents you got to do the work to climb up. You got to climb up. You got to climb up. You got to put in some work to pull yourself out of a valley to get the celebration. So after the next mountain is going to be another valley. So it's always going to be that way in life. If you sit and go through life and think it's going to be smooth landing like a flat line, you can might as well hang it up because that's death. This is reality. The up and the down, the up and the down. It's like how your heart beats up and down, up and down, up and down. That's reality. Are you going to give up here when the going gets tough? Or are you going to get your heels in, say, you know what, let me take a step back. And it's okay to take a step back, cry a little tear, but you got to get up with a plan. I'm going to do this thing. One of the things, and as you were talking, my mind went to the Wizard of Oz, and I had to mentally remember, it's been a long time since I look at the Wizard of Oz. Which one? The cowardly lion, the lioness within us. He was scared, but you were the king of the jungle. So what does that tell you? Even though the king of the jungle, he's got some flaws, but he knew where he wanted to go, and the end goal was courage. So he had to embrace that flaw. Say, am I going to stay here and be this little chicken for the other lions to sit and pick, or am I going to get up and yoke up? This is why support is important. Having the right support system and being in alignment with individuals. And I got to go get this courage. Did he? Yeah, he could have backed up when the tornado came, when them little dwarves came, and when the wizard was doing all that stuff. That it comes with going through. That's part of the journey. But he had the end in mind within himself. He said, "I cannot be like this. I got a reputation. I'm somebody, but I gotta have some courage." That's what I liked about that. That from all those years ago, that was my takeaway. That lion that had that courage, and we lionesses. And I ain't even a Leo.
That's right.
Period.
we are alive. That's it. There's something inside of us. And
That's
so
inside of us.
yes. So listen, in our second half, I want to thank everyone for joining us on tonight in the Queen's Couch podcast. Listen, we are going live every Thursday for Women's History Month. And
Mhm.
listen, we have some exciting, amazing guests that will join us talking all about things that pertain to women. Next week, guess what we're talking about? We are talking about the strong woman. Y'all, listen here. Being a strong woman almost killed me. We're going to hear that testimony next week. That, and listen, we're going to talk about mental health in the church.
Girl, you can I please be about I've got a
We gonna bring,
whole
we might bring you back.
um it's called shifting the culture of mental health mental health wellness in the church. Last
Yes.
weekend I was able to present. I've done this. It's a whole workshop, master class, and everything.
Yes, we need to talk about mental health
Yes,
in the church.
yes.
And last but not least, we are going to talk about womanhood. I am a firm believer. We're going to talk about submission and womanhood. And womanhood is who we are.
Yes.
Submission is what we do. So we're going to talk about this soft girl era. We're going to be real. We're going to roll raw. And I'm going to have my spiritual mom on here with me. We're from two different generations. We're going to talk about womanhood, femininity, and submission. Oh, my.
Ooh,
So those are our
if the
topics.
Lord sends me another husband, I'm gonna be like, Lord, submissive. What is that?
Listen, we're going to talk about it because listen to me. I always tell people, womanhood is who we are. Submitting is what we choose to do. I think people put them simultaneously together, that a woman is just submissive, and that is far from the truth. That is something that you have to work at, you choose to do, not because you're born. You're born a woman, but you are not born submissive. And so we're going to talk about that thing. And you're not born feminine either. You have to cultivate your femininity. And so we're going to talk about cultivating your femininity. You have it in you, but you have to cultivate it because sometimes life can make you hard. But we're going to talk about the soft girl era. And I'm in my soft girl journey.
Okay.
Because, honey, I'm in my soft girl journey.
You know, soft girl journey.
Yep, I gave back my strong woman badge. And I am in my soft girl era as I move on into my 50s. when I turn 50, I would just be just one of those sweet, soft women. My strength is going to be my femininity. Because guess what? Mama taught us how to be strong. But I don't think she taught us a lot about tapping into your femininity as your strength.
The soft girl era.
We getting into it. I mean, my soft girl era, I'm docile. I want to be taken care of.
You that queen.
That's it. That's what. Listen, that's what it is. That's what it's all about. But that's what we're doing. And so I want to thank you for hanging with us tonight. And listen, we're almost on the jet. But every time someone comes on the Queen's Couch, we do something different. So I want you to tell me, Coach Vaughn, your favorite. What woman has influenced you the most? Since we're talking about Women's History Month, let's talk about the woman that you feel has influenced you the most. I'm going to give you two women. I'm going to give you a Christian woman that has influenced you the most and a woman in the marketplace that has influenced you the most. Because it's hard to pick this one.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I think as a Christian woman, I would have to say my mother. I saw how my mom pulled herself up by the bootstrings and be able to raise four children, under my story, by herself. Went through a divorce, suffered a mental health event, being able to go through that and just become strong in the Lord. She's a deaconess in the church now, and her amazing strength and resiliency, and just and her faith is just what brought her through. Yeah, I mean, she, even when she did, when we didn't have, she, her thing would always be, the Lord's going to make a way. I talked to her tonight, and going through what she's going through now, her faith in God was like, God's going to see me through this. God's good. And I said, Mom, yeah, God is, because you know who your help is, and you know where's it come from. Because to go through what she's gone through and still have that story and still to be able to serve God. And I feel this thing working up with me. So let me kind of bring it back down, because I'm going to praise God, because she taught me how to be a praiser and a worshiper in the midst of it all. Business wise, it's between Oprah Winfrey and Madam C.J. Walker. Those are two women that had to overcome some challenges. For some reason, I naturally gravitate towards women who are powerful and say, I had to go through something. I was not given this in life. I had to work. I had to fight. I had to use my voice. I had to overcome some challenges to become the woman that I am today, because adversity brings about character. So it's between those two. They went through, but on the other side of through, they are who they are today. And we know them. We use their products. We watched Oprah on television, and they've had great success. One was the first self-made millionaire, and the other one, and Black women, billionaire. Hmm.
I love it. I love it. I would have to say, um, the woman that has influenced me most in my Christian walk, she is no longer alive. And her name would be Elder Collins. Elder Collins taught me how to really pray. I went to college, and I in Virginia, and I went to uh, um this mega church. I mean, back in 1993, we probably had 4 or 5 thousand people, 50 ministries. It was humongous. I went to Bishop Barbara Amos Church. It was humongous. And so we would have Monday night prayer, and I always have my prayer requests, and I'll be saying, Elder Collins, I want you to pray for me. Elder Collins, I want you to pray for me. And one day she said, I'm not praying for you anymore. She said, I'm going to teach you how to pray. You're going to come on Monday night to prayer, and I'm going to teach you how to pray. And I telling you, to this day, I never met anybody in my life, and I'm 49 years old, that prayed like Elder Collins. Elder Collins called everybody's name in the church. This lady had a watch 3 nights a week. Elder Collins stayed up and called every church member out before the Lord. Elder Collins told me, when I didn't want to be an educator, I was going to be a psychologist, that you're a teacher. I said, I don't want to teach no kids, no man, Elder Collins. Come on, you can say whatever you want to say. But she taught me how to pray by telling me, by not enabling me.
Yes.
Because if she kept enabling me, I wouldn't be the intercessor I am today.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be the person that people call to pray for them, because I would have still been asking people to pray for me. And sometimes I tell people, I'm going to teach you how to pray. You're going to pray for yourself. God wants to hear your voice. I would have to say Elder Collins had impacted my life in such a way, just how loving she was, caring to me away from home, all the way in Virginia, from little Ridgeland, South Carolina, with one stoplight. And she just loved me. She made me a part of her family, and she just was just very sweet and kind. And come to find out, I thought I was her favorite, but it looks like Elder Collins had a lot of favorites besides me.
So that's what she was telling everybody.
Yes. She just really impacted my life, because I never met anyone that prayed like that. And sometimes when I be like, oh, I gotta get up to pray, and I don't want to do it, I can still remember her knowing that she stayed up 3 nights out of a week, calling out everybody's
Falling
name
on people.
in the church.
Mm.
And
That's a
that
mighty
that 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 did something for me
yeah.
in my life. And so
Yeah.
that's now the person I would say in the marketplace, believe it or not, that would I would say impact that I really like is Coco Chanel. And why I
Oh.
like her is because she came in a male dominated industry of fashion,
Uh-huh.
and she just was herself. And some of her quotes is a woman should be anything that she want to be. A woman should not be well behaved. A woman should be classy and fabulous.
Absolutely.
And that just kind of speaks to me, like even in the midst of being in a male dominated place, she didn't conform to be like the men. She was her own shining star. And
Mm-hmm.
she let individuals know that I'm here and I don't have to be like you to be in this industry. And so I took that as one of my mantras, like I'm here. Sometimes I've been in situations where I've been the only woman of color there, and I'm here. And I'm not about to conform and code switch to you. This is who I am. I am an educated black woman who is well spoken. And I'm not well spoken to be black. I'm just well spoken. And so I just made my own mark. And so that's kind of why I like her. Just because when you're the odd person out, you have to make a decision. Are you going to conform, or are you going to tread the path that you have to tread? And so that's why I love Coco Chanel. Now, I do love Chanel perfume and I do love her earrings. But more than that, I love that in the time she was a woman in a male dominated industry, but she still made her mark. She still was feminine. And she still believed that you can be anything that you can be as a woman. Even when they tell you you can't be there or show up. So that would be my two people that I would say. I have so many more. I have a lot more, but when I come to think about my own path in life, um, those two women are exciting. My family, of course, my aunt, my great grandmother. This podcast is named after my great grandmother. Um,
Oh.
my
Oh.
great grandmother's name is Queenie Victoria, my namesake. I'm named after her. And
Oh.
so the Queen's podcast is named for in homage to my great grandmother and the
Uh-huh.
women in my family. Because we had porches and we would sit on the porch and ladies would talk and the kids would be trying to listen. And so when I thought about this podcast, I was like, well, the Queen's Couch, because my great grandmother was very, I remember her a little bit. I remember her a little bit because she lived to be 103. Um,
Fantastic.
and she was this businesswoman. And I, I, I think that my business savviness and the way that I am, um, I'm her wildest dreams. I think the
Mm.
things that she did and she went through, and my aunts and my grandmother, um, you know, I'm their wildest dreams. I'm living their dreams because they did some things. They had to endure some things so that I didn't have to endure those things. And
Mm-hmm.
so this podcast is named after the amazing women in my family. And so in areas where they may not have healed in places, I'm going to heal for them.
Absolutely.
And in places where they may not have had a voice, I'm going to be a voice that they couldn't be. Because while I'm speaking, I'm still speaking their legacy and the things that they desire. I'm, I'm that, I'm that generational curse breaker. And so in areas
Absolutely.
where they didn't heal,
Generational former.
I'm healing. So that my daughter can be whole and healthy, and the generation of women behind me um, can be healthy, happy, whole and living the life that they've imagined. And so that's really why this couch this is called the Queen's Couch from my great grandmother. Yeah, Queen
I
Victoria.
love I
I
love
love
that. I
it. I
mean,
mean,
it's such a
it's such a
fitting
fitting
picture to her.
picture. Oh, so I'm excited. So listen, we're about to go, but Miss Coach Vaughn has some amazing news to share with us tonight. So one of the things I want you to know, Coach Vaughn is an author, and so she has an amazing book. But on the Queen's Couch tonight, she has an announcement for you all. And Coach Vaughn, tell them all about what you have for them tonight.
Y'all,
Y'all,
listen.
listen,
Got a
got a
couple of
couple of
things.
things.
The
The
book,
book,
okay. You
okay.
get
You
the
get
book
the book
tonight. You
tonight.
said
You
the
said the
podcast.
podcast.
Um,
Um,
get the
get
book
the book.
Creative Life Therapy. It comes with the signature, the custom ink pen, as well as a motivational band. And then drum roll, please. Da 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 da. Now everybody's been seeing me with this shirt. I am launching it tonight. Empower her. You see, you see it here. You got your woman, clarity and purpose, mental health, well-being, and on the back, I don't know if you can see it. It says, "I am her." You can't see it. I don't know if you can put the picture in the comments, but it says, "I am her." Empower her. I am her. This is me. I'm the woman who needs clarity, purpose, and mental health well-being. So these shirts, you can pre-order the shirts. They are custom if you want your name on the back. There's about a $5 extra charge for that. Inbox me, get at me, and I will get them to you. The turnaround time will be about a week's turnaround time. And again, tonight, because we are launching tonight, $15. I have large, extra large, 1X, 2X, 3X. And we have the extended sizes, which take about a week and a half to get in. But we got them. Empower her. Get your clarity. Become clear about who you are. Knowing your purpose. Because ladies, baby, you got to have mental health well-being. Because mental health, especially for women of color, is in the forefront. So get at these t-shirts. Get at these t-shirts tonight because we're launching tonight. $15. Get at Coach Vaughn and rock it. Period.
Tell them how they can reach you, Coach Vaughn. Tell them your.
How you can reach me? I am on all social medias. Of my business page is Creative Life Journeys, and again, Journeys is spelled JOURNIES on Facebook, LLC. You can get me on IG, Coach Vaughn, Coach Vaughn 20, Coach Vaughn 20 dot wait a minute, Coach Vaughn dot 20 underscore 20. I am on LinkedIn, Evonne L. Young, MA, and I feel like I'm someplace else. Oh, I'm on, and then of course my regular Facebook page. If you don't want to get the book through me, it is available on Amazon. You can email me, inbox me. Creative Life Journeys, again, like I said, JOURNIES at gmail.com. And we're working on getting my website back up in my link tree, and I'll be posting all of them soon. I also have my second annual mental health and wellness conference coming up here in Florence, South Carolina. It's going to be on May the 18th. We're working on getting that venue together, so we've already signed the contract. And once it's been reviewed and get back to me, I'll be posting that. It's going to be on Eventbrite. So looking forward to it because this year's theme is I am more than enough. So yeah, I got a lot going on. I'm booked all the way out till June. But I'll
I'll
make
make
room for
room
you
for
now.
you now.
And Coach Vaughn Speaks, if you need me to come to one of your speaking engagements, get out at me. Anything that's related to women's empowerment as it relates to mental health and well-being, I'm your person.
Thank you so much, Coach Vaughn, for being with us on tonight. It has been a pleasure to have you on the Queen's Couch. I just love your charismatic, courageous spirit, but you're down to earth and you're real, and I just love that. Thank you so much for being our guest tonight.
Thank
And
you.
listen, do you have any parting words before we close out on tonight?
I just
I
like to
just
say,
like to say,
women,
women,
When you find your voice, embrace it and speak your truth. Always, always, just like, she said, never let anybody dim your light. Never let anybody make you feel less than who you are. Own your truth and always show up as your authentic, best version of yourself. Empowered. Empower her. I am her. And that's
Thank
it.
you so much, Coach Vaughn, for being on with us on tonight. It has been amazing. Listen, Queens, I thank you for being on the Queen's Couch on tonight. This is the place where Queens collaborate and do not collide. And this Women's History Month, it is all about women. It's all about my sisters. Listen, my Latino sister. Listen, it's all about my African American sisters, my Puerto Rican sisters, all the women in the diaspora, because guess what? We all have a story
We do.
to share. Every woman has had a story in their culture to share. And it may not be your own personal story, but guess what? It's a story of triumph. It's a story of love. It's the story that I am here and I've made my mark in this world. So listen, you are a woman. There is nothing more precious than a woman. When God made you, He put some thought into you, that she gave you things that you can't even imagine that could impact this world. So I want you to go out and be great. One of my favorite quotes, I always say, I have it tattooed on my arm. Listen, go for it and live the life you have always imagined. And listen, the only way you're going to be able to do that is have self-awareness, have a great relationship with yourself, get in a community where people are empowering you and have your back and are pushing you to be your best self. So listen, thank you so much for tuning in to the Queen's Couch. Next week, we have Coach Janice Green that will be on the Queen's Couch. And listen to me. Listen, I call her the Puerto Rican princess because she has a lot to say to us, and we love her so much. That is
Another
my
powerhouse.
sister. And she is a powerhouse, and we're excited to have her. So listen, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you for thank you so much, Coach Vaughn. Listen, don't forget to reach out to Coach Vaughn. Listen, she's Coach Vaughn on all social media platforms. Get that t-shirt, empower her. I'm getting me one. Check out her book. Listen, and if you get an opportunity to go to that health and wellness conference, go. Listen, she is such an amazing speaker. Everywhere she goes, she is empowering women. She is pushing women through her story of triumph, self awareness, and finding her voice. Thank you so much, Coach Vaughn. It is an honor to have you on tonight. Thank you so much. And listen, in honor of Women History Month, I give homage to the women in my family, to my amazing great grandmother, Queenie Victoria, to my grandmother, Lucille Burson, to my mommy, Fonnie Marie, and to all the amazing women in my family, my Aunt Mary, who I love, who is with us, to all the amazing women in my family, to my cousin who's on here with me tonight. I love you so much, Gigi, for always supporting me, and to all the amazing women in my family. I love you, and we have a strong legacy that can never be broken. So listen, I want you to tell all the women in your family, listen, if you haven't called up your cousin, you haven't sent them a text, you haven't said anything to your sister, your aunt, your uncle, listen, it's Women's History Month. Not only empower women around you, but empower the women that are in your family. Let them know you love them. Let them know you appreciate their struggles, their triumph, and their stories. And guess what? Let's rally together. Thank you so much for being on the Queen's Couch. This is the place where queens will always collaborate and we do not collide. I'll see you next Thursday at 7 a.m. Have a great one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hello and welcome to the Queen's Couch Podcast with our amazing host, Dr. Tanika Victoria. She curates a space for women where all women are encouraged to collaborate and do not collide. Join us on the couch tonight.